Hey, welcome in.
Welcome to the Arrowhead Addict podcast.
We are here coming to you live. The Kansas City Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl. You only win a Super Bowl 2 times every 5 years, right?
Oh!
The warm-up act is over. Let's bring in Melissa Etheridge, massive Chiefs fan. Melissa.
Super Bowl champion, 2-time Pro Bowler, and Trent Green. Trent Green, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
And he picked it up! He picked it up! He's gonna score! And we'll see you next week, but until then, as always, go Chiefs. Hey, let's get this year started off right with me talking and introing the entire show while being on mute. Patrick Allen here with you as always for the OG Hour. Happy New Year. I was trying to turn down the blower on my heating system in here. It was really loud, and I'm just like looking at the remote, introing the show. Producer Richard in with the save as usual. Just me today. Usually a Vertiram week. Holidays have everything a little bit wonky. We were supposed to have a guest today. It didn't work out. So things fell through. A little crazy. Don't worry. I got you covered. We're going to get you ready for this Chiefs versus Broncos game. It's going to be kind of interesting. Chiefs going to be resting their starters and all that. But listen, Happy New Year, everybody. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Whatever you celebrated, didn't celebrate. If you're like me, you're full of like booze and cheese right now. First day back at work, everything's a little bit disorienting. I was off basically, other than some podcasting, from the day before Christmas Eve until right now. So I'm probably going to be, might have a few miles per hour off my fastball today, but I'm excited to be back. I'm excited to tackle 2025, and it's time. I'm ready. I've got my Chiefs Super Bowl hat on. If you're not watching on YouTube, I've got my Chiefs Super Bowl hoodie that I bought at the Super Bowl a couple years ago. So I'm ready to go. It is time for us all to get serious and make this run for the three-peat. Shout out to Neil for the super chat. Says Happy New Year. Shout out to Richard for the newly added golf channel in our Discord. Thanks a million. Yeah, man, if you want to become a part of the Arrowhead Addict community, check out the link in the description, the private Discord. It's not just Chiefs talk in there, man. I mean, there's golf now, betting. We're talking booze. We're talking movies. It's a great time. We hang out in there during the games and talk about what's going on. It's a great way to get involved with the community and to support the show. So I got a jam-packed show for you guys today. We're going to run over the news a little bit. We're going to talk about that Broncos game. We're going to play a little Chiefs true and false on some sort of major topics. I want to hear your thoughts in the chat, whether or not you think these Chiefs statements are true or false. And then I've got a little Patrick rant for you. I've been sitting on this. I've been stewing on it all season long. I'm going to talk to you about these idiots, these morons, these mouth breathers that think that the NFL is rigged in favor of the Chiefs. Man, I've been waiting to do this. I just needed time to sit down and do it. And over the break, I had a chance to write it all down. So let's get into it. If you're watching on YouTube, do me a favor, hit that like button. Let's get some more Chiefs fans in here to talk ball. All right, so the Pro Bowl selections came out today, and the Chiefs have 5 Pro Bowlers. And I'm going to read them to you right now. 3 of them are starters. Creed Humphrey, starter at center. Chris Jones, starter at defensive tackle. And Joe Thuney is a starter at guard. Travis Kelce was also nominated to the Pro Bowl. He made it in there at tight end along Brock Bowers from the Raiders, who's a sensational rookie, and Trey Smith. So the entirety of the Chiefs' interior offensive line, although Joe Thuney is the left tackle now for how much longer, I don't know. But I think those are all well-deserved. The Chiefs also had 8 alternates named to the team. Trent McDuffie is an alternate. That's a huge snub, in my opinion. McDuffie's one of the top 2 or 3 corners in the league. He should be on this Pro Bowl team. It's always tough at corner. I feel like McDuffie doesn't get a ton of interceptions. Just a couple weeks ago had his first ever interception in the NFL. So that kind of gets you some name recognition, but he's fantastic. It's the same, like Creed didn't make it his first year, but then he got some name recognition. So Chiefs fans, get out there, make sure people know in the future here how good Trent McDuffie is. He should be on this team. Nick Bolton is an alternate. Carson Steele, hilariously, is an alternate. I'm not sure about that one. George Karlaftis named an alternate. Matt Ariza, Leo Chenal, Harrison Butker, and Butker's been injured a little bit. I don't know about that one either. And then Patrick Mahomes is an alternate for the Pro Bowl. This is breaking a 6-year streak for Patrick, on making the Pro Bowl. Look, man, he's the best quarterback in the world. He got off to a rough start this year, was throwing a lot of interceptions, and then you had all the turmoil and injuries, turmoil on the offensive line, injuries to the wide receivers. The guys that made it, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, you really can't knock them. Those guys have all been incredible all year. If there's anybody that you want to take down a peg, I'd say it's Joe Burrow, just because his team is fighting for a playoff spot, got off to a slow start. I don't know that it's all his fault, but you win and lose as a team. But other than that, I mean, his numbers are incredible. The offense is moving. They can't really stop anybody. That's a big part of the problem as well. So all deserving guys to make the Pro Bowl games. And look, at this point, Patrick Mahomes doesn't really care about Pro Bowls. And the Chiefs don't want to go to the Pro Bowl games anyway, because if they're there in Orlando, I think is where they're doing it, that means that they didn't make it to the Super Bowl. So hopefully the Chiefs will, none of those guys will be actually at the Pro Bowl. Okay, let's move it on. To the next news item, which is going to be the Broncos game. Carson Wentz will get the start. It's all been confirmed. Patrick Mahomes will not be playing against the Broncos. I don't think this is a surprise to anybody. So Wentz will be out there. And it's actually kind of interesting because Andy Reid's been getting asked about Carson Wentz this week, and we're getting into playoff scenarios in just a minute, but this is a really important game, not necessarily for the Chiefs, but the Broncos win this game and they're in the playoffs. They lose, then there's a chance that they don't make it. So Andy Reid's been asked about Carson Wentz this week, and he's really raving about him. He says he liked Carson Wentz when he came out, and he also said he thinks Carson Wentz should be a starter in the league. He talked about his preparation. So it's going to be interesting. It seems like the Chiefs coaches really love Carson, and they're rooting for him, and they want him to succeed. So, are they going to pull out all their special plays and everything for Carson Wentz? No, but I think they're going to try to win the game. I think they're going to send him out there with a good game plan, one that fits his skill set and that he's comfortable with, and that maybe, involves some plays that not a lot of people have seen because they're Carson Wentz plays. And I think the Chiefs will be more competitive in this game than everybody might expect. That said, I don't think that they're going to be able to compete. It's all weird, though. These games at the end of the season are always strange. You would think when it's this kind of situation, right? Like a team that's not playing for anything versus a team that needs to win and get in, it's closed book, right? That the team that's trying to get in the playoffs is going to win. It doesn't happen all the time, man. Those teams lose that. The teams in the Broncos position lose this game all the time. Now, it's not always that they're playing against backups, and I think that's the big differentiator here. Sometimes they're playing against starters. So, like, if the Broncos were playing against, I don't know, who's like the Raiders or something, where, most of the main guys for the Raiders would be playing, it might be a taller task because the team wants to play spoiler. They're all pros. In the Chiefs situation, you're going to be sending out Carson Wentz, who hasn't played in a real football game all year, right? And he's not going to have – we already know the Chiefs don't have a ton of receiving weapons. So guys that are likely to rest in this one, I don't think you're going to see Chris Jones. You're not going to see Patrick Mahomes. You're not going to see Travis Kelce. You're not going to see maybe Nick Bolton, probably no Isaiah Pacheco. Are they going to run Kareem Hunt out there? I doubt it. Look, some guys have to be active. So some of these guys might be active, but I mean, you're probably looking at a heavy dose of Carson Steele in this game, right? Like you're not going to wear down Kareem Hunt. Maybe he's active in case of emergency, Like Pacheco's got a rib injury, so he's not going to play. So there's going to be a handful of Chiefs like Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce that can't play no matter what. They're going to be inactive. And then there's going to be guys that they're active, but they don't want to put out there. So what kind of offensive line are you going to see if you're Carson Wentz? I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it with the backups. You only have so many players on the team that can be active for game day. So, you look at the offensive line and, okay, maybe Kingsley plays this game. I'm guessing you see Kingsley starting, maybe Kingsley and Wanye at right tackle. Caliendo's probably got to be out there. Hunter Norzad, CJ Hansen. Maybe they call some guys up. Ethan Driscoll. These are the kinds of guys that could be out there. George Karlaftis, I don't think he'll probably play in this game either. So it's going to be interesting. I wouldn't play Trent McDuffie. So you're going to see some guys get some run, and you're just going to hope that anybody that has to play that the Chiefs are going to need in the playoffs, if they do play, that they don't get injured. At the wide receiver position, I don't know what you guys think in the chat. Let me know who you think should play. I mean, who are we looking at here? You're not putting Hopkins out there. Hollywood Brown, you just got him back. I don't think he needs the extra reps. I mean, I bet they would be nice, but do you really? The guy got hurt on the first play of preseason. Since he's come back, the offense has looked 10 times better. Do you want to risk him getting hurt out there? I wouldn't put Hollywood Brown on the field. Give me a steady dose of Nico Remigio, Juju Smith-Schuster. I don't know. Maybe they call some guys up from the practice squad. It's tough. Do you want to play Xavier Worthy in this game? I guess. It's just hard. There's so much on the line for the Chiefs. They have to go out there and play a football game. And it's not fair to Carson Wentz to just run the ball 60 times, but the Chiefs have to keep their eye on the ball here. Let's go to the chat real quick. Wiley Possum says, Mahomes missing the Pro Bowl tells us all you need to know about the credibility of the Pro Bowl these days. I mean, look, if you stack up his numbers from this season against the guys that made it, I mean, I don't think it's a contest, It's the Pro Bowl. Look, the Pro Bowl is dumb. Pay attention to all pros, because the Pro Bowl guys get in every year on name recognition. They do the stupid fan voting thing. It's just a way for the NFL to keep. I don't think the fans should have a vote or have a very strong say in the Pro Bowl, because we're going to vote for our guys. The fact that Carson Steele is an alternate for the Pro Bowl. I mean, what is Carson Steele? What is Carson Steele's stats this year? Remember earlier this year when I said that if Carson Steele ended up, getting I said if he got 700 yards this season, I would wear a clown suit on the show, an actual clown suit, because some guy was mad at me because I said Carson Steele's not a starting running back in the NFL, not an every down back. Carson Steele finished the season with 48 carries for 158 yards. He averaged 3.3 yards per carry. Carson Steele's a Pro Bowl alternate. I mean, that's all you need to know about the credibility of the Pro Bowl. It's a fun thing. Great. It's good for fans, but don't put too much stock into it. All right. Week 18 playoff scenario. So how's it shaking out with the AFC playoff field? If you haven't been paying attention to this sort of thing, it's pretty much set. Okay. But there's a few things that are important. So Chiefs had the 1 seed locked up. The Bills have the 2 seed locked up. Right now, the Ravens are the 3 seed. They're 11-5. Pittsburgh is 10-6. They're the 5 seed. So it's really fascinating because Pittsburgh plays Cincinnati. Cincinnati needs to win to even have a chance to get in the playoffs. Pittsburgh, if you're Pittsburgh, you would much rather have that 3 seed and win the division over Baltimore. So they're going to have to play and figure out, how things are going to shake out. So the way the schedule goes, though, is Baltimore plays on Saturday. They play the Browns at 3:30, and the Browns are starting Bailey Zappi. So if Baltimore wins that game, the Steelers can't win the division, but they still are fighting for the 5 seed. And it's a big difference because if the Steelers were to lose to the Bengals, they're in the playoffs, but I think they could actually get the 6 or the 7 seed. So right now is the 5 seed. And so right now your playoff teams, the Chiefs, Bills, Ravens, Houston Texans, by virtue of winning their division, they're the 4. The Steelers are the 5. The Chargers are the 6. The Broncos are the 7. So in that scenario, if it goes chalk this weekend, Broncos go to Buffalo, the Chargers go to Baltimore, and the Steelers go to the Texans because the Steelers are the 5. If you're the Steelers, the way the Texans have been playing right now, you want to be that 5. You got to go on the road, and then that gives you a chance, a prayer, maybe if somebody gets upset, of hosting a playoff game. But also, you're going to maybe probably get to the next round. The Texans are totally beatable, even on the road. Whereas the alternative is if you slip to the 6, then you're going and taking on Baltimore in their house, a division rival. Or if you slip all the way to the 7, which I believe is possible, you're going to play the Buffalo Bills. So if you're Pittsburgh, you're still motivated to win that game regardless of what happens with the Ravens. Okay, so in our game, you got the Broncos. They're the 7 seed. They're the only team in the playoff field that is not locked into the playoffs. Chargers are the 6. They're in the playoffs. If the Broncos lose, then a couple things could happen. If the Bengals beat the Steelers on Saturday, I'll run this down for you. Excuse me. So the Bengals beat the Steelers on Saturday. And at 3:25 on Sunday, the Chiefs and the Broncos play. If the Broncos were to lose and the Bengals win, the Bengals would get the 7 seed if the Miami Dolphins, who are ahead of them, lose to the Jets at 3:25. Okay, so the Bengals need to win, and they need the Broncos to lose to the Chiefs, and they need the Dolphins to lose to the Jets. If the Broncos lose to the Chiefs, the Bengals win, and the Dolphins win against the Jets, the Dolphins get the 7 seed. So a lot at play here, and we're just not going to know until this Chiefs game. But the thing is, I think the Chiefs are going to lose to the Broncos. They're on the road at Mile High. Carson Wentz resting all their stars. Broncos are a good team. They're well coached. I don't see them laying an egg and losing. So I think all of it's going to be moot. I think that let the Bengals and the Steelers, let them battle it out on Saturday. Great. Let the Ravens, play the Browns. They're like 20-point favorites. And then when we get to Sunday, the Broncos beat the Chiefs. They're the 7 seed. The Bengals are eliminated. Dolphins are eliminated. It's all over. The Colts were in the mix, but then they crapped the bed and lost last week, so they're out. So, and God almighty, they lost to the Giants. Was it the Giants that they lost to? Yes, they lost 45-33 to the Giants. Drew Lock. I mean, what a disaster for the Colts. I thought the Bengals were toast because the Colts played the Giants, and then this week they play the Jaguars. I thought that the Colts were going to end up, fighting for that playoff spot and knocking Cincinnati out. But the Bengals still have a chance, but only if the Chiefs beat the Steelers. So we'll get into this a little bit later in true or false, but do you want to see the Bengals get that 7 seed? If they do, that's a really potentially difficult first-round opponent for the Bills. But also, if the Bengals were to knock off the Bills, then they're coming to Arrowhead because the Chiefs are the 2 seed. So pick your poison there. We'll talk about it a little bit later. But the playoff seeding pretty much set on the AFC side here. And all the Broncos need to do is win. And then that's it. But there's some movement that can happen with the Chargers, the Broncos, the Steelers, depending on how things go. So it's going to be kind of fascinating to see how it all plays out. Okay. We're going to get into true or false in just a minute. First, I got to let you know that Underdog is the place to play if you're a sports fan looking to win money while watching sports. With over 5 million happy players and 2 billion won, Underdog makes it fun and easy to cash in on your favorite athletes' performances. You can compete against other players just by selecting higher or lower on 2 or more player stats, and you can win up to 1,000 times your money. So turn every touchdown into a win with Underdog. I love their vulture protection. You just select designated running back to score a touchdown for your pick'em entry. If they get vultured by the backup, they're going to rescue your entry. So just download the app today and use our code Arrowhead Addict. That's all one word to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. Again, that's our code Arrowhead Addict, all one word, to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama, Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, 1-800-639-8783, or text NEXT STEP to 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 HOPE line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NEW YORK, or text HOPE New York to 467-369. Before we get to true or false, I wish you all a happy new year at the top. I also just want to send all my thoughts and prayers out to the people of New Orleans. Just an absolutely terrible terrorist attack, murder, awful thing that happened down there early in the morning on New Year's Day. I don't know what to say, y'all. This is a football show. We got to get it together, man. Like, I don't know. I don't know what's happening. Why there's just so much hate and misery in the world, but it's got to stop. I don't know what the answer is, but I just feel terrible. I feel terrible. People can't go out and congregate and celebrate and be happy without worrying about some maniac with a gun or in a car or in a knife trying to just do mass murder. We got to do something about it. Again, I don't know what the answer is. We got to do something about the mental health crisis in this country. Because there are just, there was a guy, and I mean, for goodness sake, over the break, there was a guy who lit some woman on fire in a train car in New York City. And then the other day in New York, yesterday or 2 days ago, some nut on the platform shoved somebody in front of a train, and he's in critical condition. So, I mean, that's just in the last few days. It's disgusting. I don't know what else to say about it. Just the hell with these people, man. But like, let's get some people some mental health care. Let's get some of these homeless people off the streets and get them homes and get them treatment. Because if somebody doesn't have mental health care and you just discard them to the edges of society, then these are the kinds of things that can happen. It's just awful. All right. Prayers to everybody down there in New Orleans. Okay. True or false? So interactive one here for you guys watching on YouTube. Hit the like button. Let's do a Chiefs true or false. I got a few here that I think, and you let me know. I'll read the statement and you let me know if it's true or false. All right, here we go. Moving Joe Thuney to left tackle was the right decision. True or false? Sound off in the comments. Moving Joe Thuney to left tackle was the right decision. True or false? I was looking today. It was like October, just before Halloween. I tweeted out, is Joe Thuney the best left tackle on the Chiefs? And if so, should he be playing the position? There were a lot of people who got really mad at me. They were like, we're not doing this. You don't move an all-pro. And I know that's not ideal, but man, I was seeing the writing on the wall. There was nobody that could protect Patrick. And I would rather have, you guys have heard me say this before, I would rather have less of a performer at the guard position than a complete turnstile at the tackle position and an injured Patrick Mahomes destroying the three-peat chances. So it's true for me. I thought it then. I think it now. The results speak for themselves. Patrick hasn't been sacked. And what else do you want? He didn't get sacked last week. So Joe's not getting beat quickly. Wanye, Kingsley, Ole. There are guys that weren't even good pass rushers were smoking them. Not just getting pressures, fighting. It was like, bye. You may as well not even been standing here. I just ran around you. So it is what it is. And you guys agree with me, it looks like most of you. Kathy Welch, true. Alan F, true. Sean Browning says true. Tungsten says true. True. Everybody's on board with me now. Mike says that was a gutsy move and it worked. I only brought that up because he had slid into that position before, and it was a while ago. But you knew that he could kind of hold his own out there. He's such an elite player, and it's not like he's an elite left tackle, but he's such an elite. The Chiefs didn't need him to be an elite left tackle. It'd be wonderful if we could eventually get an elite left tackle, but just the Chiefs. Donovan Smith wasn't elite last year. Like, just hold it down, and it seems to be working. So. Thank God for Joe Thuney. What an absolute legend. Okay, so next true or false question is, and I'm guessing I know the answer here from you guys based on your response to the first one. Tooney should stay at left tackle even if DJ Humphries is healthy. True or false? Joe Tooney should stay at left tackle even if DJ Humphries is healthy. I mean, we saw almost a full game from DJ Humphries. It wasn't going well. That doesn't mean it wouldn't have gone well if he hadn't played football in over a year. But I mean, at this point, I don't know. It'll be interesting. I don't know if he's healthy. Actually, let me pull up the injury report. But I think he's still not practicing. So, like, if he was healthy for this Broncos game, I would definitely put him out there because he just needs the reps in case you need to call on him. Let's see. Looks like, the injury report is out for today. Chris Jones did not practice. Pacheco did not practice. Jawan Taylor did not practice. Now, Jawan's been dealing with that knee injury. McCole Hardman was limited. Remember, he had that knee surgery. Mahomes was limited. McDuffie was limited. Pennell was limited. Chamari Connor, full participant. DJ Humphries, full participant. Okay, so DJ Humphries is practicing. So, I'm playing DJ Humphries at left tackle. But let's see what you guys say. Alan says false. Gwen says false. Justin says false. Tungsten says false unless DJ can play Sunday. False. So you guys think Tooney? I said Tooney should stay at left tackle even when Humphries is healthy, and you guys are saying false to that. You don't think he should stay there? Tim says true. Wiley says true. It's a proven fix and it's worked. Unless they see, I agree. Humphries at right tackle, says Gary. Oh, interesting. I don't know, man. Wanye stepped in and did an okay job over at right tackle. Remember, he was a right tackle in college. So Sean says false. Wiley says Humphrey plays tackle versus Denver. I think you leave Joe Tooney there. This is the offense has looked as good as it has. I mean, do you want the next time the Chiefs play a meaningful football game, like 3 weeks from now, do you want DJ Humphries out there? Patrick Mahomes has like 53 snaps with that guy at left tackle. I mean, even if he looks unbelievable against the Broncos, if he starts at left tackle, I would be really nervous about it. Whereas you've seen Joe Tooney at left tackle and it's been working for you. Tungsten says, I would say if DJ sucks on Sunday, keep it like it is now. I don't want to make any major changes. Like things have been looking so good. Why experiment? Patrick seemed comfortable with Joe at left tackle, so I'm leaving him. We'll see. We'll see what they decide to do. Andy Reid should be in consideration for Coach of the Year. True or false? I think I know what your answer is. I've been banging this drum all year, man. The fact that the Chiefs are 15-1 right now, given all the crap that they dealt with. Look, is he slam dunk Coach of the Year? There's some really good candidates out there. Dan Campbell. So I'm not saying it has to go to Andy Reid, but the fact that he doesn't even get mentioned in these conversations is preposterous. He's the best coach in the NFL by a long shot. He won the Super Bowl last year, and all he did was turn around and lead his team injury-riddled, no left tackle, walking penalty at right tackle, loses his starting running back, loses two of his starting wide receivers, and they're 15-1. There's no other team that can say that. There's teams that have had injuries. The Lions have had more injuries than the Chiefs. They ain't 15-1. He's incredible. There's no way this team is 15-1 without Andy Reid. No chance. Zero chance. And I think if Dan Campbell was the head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs, do I think they'd be 15-1? Nope. Sorry. They might have 5 losses. And I love Dan Campbell. It's crazy. Sean says true. Justin says true. Tungsten says 100%, 1,000, 1,000,000,000% true. True from Ronald. He says Chiefs snubbed in general. I agree with that. Fatigue, right? I mean, I don't think Andy's ever won. Has he ever won Coach of the Year? He definitely hasn't since he's been in Kansas City. It's nuts. Wiley says Andy should be Coach of the Year. Okay. All right. Next up. The Chiefs don't want to see the Bengals in the playoffs. True or false? The Chiefs don't want to see the Bengals in the playoffs. This is a fun one. A lot of people, are very confident. They're like, no, bring on the Bengals. They haven't been good all year. For me, I'm going to say true. They're a good team. Look, in the playoffs, it comes down to, for me, quarterbacks, right? Do you have an elite quarterback? I don't like the Bengals. Their defense is terrible. I think they deserve to be right where they are because they haven't played great. But Joe Burrow is a really good quarterback. Jamar Chase is unbelievable. T. Higgins is a number one, stuck in a number two role. And Chase Brown's been running wild. I don't want to play why would I want to play the Bengals? I would the Chiefs could end up playing like the Steelers or something in the first round, right? If the Steelers end up being the 5 seed and they upset Houston and then it goes chalk the rest of the way, the Chiefs are playing the Steelers in Arrowhead. They just wallop the Steelers. You're telling me you would rather play the Bengals than the Steelers? Because if the Bengals get in the playoffs, yeah, maybe they knock off Buffalo, but then you still have to deal with that offense. So I don't the Chiefs don't get an extra Super Bowl ring from having the absolute hardest path to the Super Bowl. Last year, they did have the hardest path to the Super Bowl any team ever has had by DVOA. Great. That's great. Glad we won it. Give me the Steelers in the first round. I don't care. Let's see what you guys have to say. Tom says false. Sean says false. Chiefs aren't scared of anyone in the playoffs. I don't think they're scared of anybody. But if you think if you let them pick and said, hey, you can pick between the Bengals, the Broncos, Chargers, the Bengals, that they would choose, that the Bengals wouldn't be at the bottom of the list. I think they would be. Maybe you don't want to see. I don't like to see the division rivals either. Chargers are playing really good ball right now. Sean says disrespect fuels the Chiefs. Tom says false. Boston T. Marty says true. It's great. This would eliminate needing to see the Bills, but it would mean needing to beat the Bengals and the Bills. Wiley says Chiefs would love to see the Bengals. They fear no one. Yeah, I mean, maybe. Justin says Cincinnati's 0-3 in the last 3 seasons. That's true. One of those games was with Browning. Ronald says true in the divisional round. Tom says Chiefs playing Steelers in the second round. Yeah, that's the way I think it's going to go. Wiley says KC players fear no one. As fans, there are several other teams I'd rather the Chiefs play in the divisional round. Yeah, I'm just being honest. And now, to be fair, the question was the Chiefs don't want to see the Bengals in the playoffs. And I'm kind of answering it from the perspective of Patrick doesn't want to see the Bengals in the playoffs. Patrick, me, not Patrick Mahomes. All right, next up. Xavier Worthy is breaking out and will continue his improved play in the postseason. True or false? Xavier Worthy is breaking out. A la Rashee Rice. True or false? Man, I'm struggling with this one. I don't know if it's that he's breaking out so much as that the addition of Hollywood Brown is making things a little easier on Xavier Worthy. I guess that doesn't matter, right? If he's breaking out, he's breaking out. Just because the pieces changed him around him, he's still doing it. It's been a small sample size. I'm going to go false. I'm not saying it's not happening. I'm saying I haven't seen enough yet to be like, oh yeah, he's turned the corner. He's breaking out. And that's fine, right? Let him go and do it in the playoffs and continue. I'm not sure. It wasn't that long ago. Everything was still off. Timing was off. I know there's been a lot of near misses, but I just haven't seen enough to definitely call it a breakout yet, but I hope it is. Gary says true. Tom says true. Yeah, I mean, you guys might be right. Hollywood Brown coming back. It changes your matchups when you're on the field at the same time. It very well could be. Tim says false. Yeah, I think I agree with Tim. Gwen says true. Ronald says true. He will get a touchdown and or 20 plus yard plays. Justin says he's looked more comfortable since Hollywood's been back. I agree with that 100%. And you know what I mean? At this point, he's a veteran. He's played an entire season. And it's not always just like on Xavier, right? Like the tackle stuff's been messed up. So that's a little bit off. That makes Patrick a little bit off, which makes Worthy a little bit off. Like, you know what I mean? It's a domino effect. So, maybe he has a much better season if Hollywood plays the whole year and the tackle situation isn't what it is. It's just, it's like the degree of, like, it was like Worthy had to play in hard mode this year, right? Because of all the injuries and the offensive line stuff and Patrick being a little bit off. So if he's not playing on hard mode anymore, if he's playing on all Madden is hard mode, pro playing on pro, maybe he's playing on pro now. Maybe he does break out. Maybe I'm wrong. So let's see. Boston T Marty says true. Worthy is a great piece with Hollywood and Hopkins. I agree with that. And I think now they can really use him. It's the extra speed on the field, I think, that makes the big difference. You get Hollywood out there, and now you've got Worthy still doing the gadget stuff, but like the defense starts running out of fast guys to contend with all that, and I think it really helps. Okay. Next up, Kareem Hunt should get more carries than Pacheco in the playoffs. True or false? For me, it's not so much about carries, but this one is true. I've been saying it the last couple of weeks. I think right now, Kareem Hunt's the better back in the Chiefs system for what the Chiefs need. And I think they can pretty much do a timeshare, but when it's all said and done, if it's a 3rd and short or a 4th and short or a goal line play, it's critical. Give me Kareem Hunt. Like, he's just he runs. I think he's got a little bit better vision, and that's fair. Like, he's way more experienced than Isaiah Pacheco. Pop's great. I love it. He's still coming back off an injury. Now he's got a rib thing going on. There's some rust there. Keep Kareem Hunt fresh, and when it matters, I think he should be the starter. So it's true for me. Let's see. Justin says false. Sean says true. Ron says depends on the opponent. It's an interesting comment. Kathy says true. Ronald says good mix now. Jeremy says I don't think Pacheco will be. I think you mean re-signed. Got to put that put that dash in there between re and signed, or it means he's going to be retired, fired, let go, resigned from the Chiefs, which may be the case if he's not re-signed. Gary says on 3rd and short, true. Tim says true. Justin says it's situational. If you ask me, Andy will scheme them accordingly. I'd agree with that. I think that's fair. I'd still like to see a little bit more Hunt. All right. Couple more. The Bills will be the team the Chiefs face in the AFC Championship game. True or false? The Bills will be the Chiefs' opponent in the AFC Championship game. Should the Chiefs make it? We think they will. In the championship game. This is a tough one, man. Bills are playing really well right now. Their offense is great. I think it's a coin flip between the Ravens and the Bills. Like, if that game happens, I think the Ravens, I'm going to go false. I think, I said this earlier, I think the Ravens will upset the Bills. I don't think it's a stone cold lock, and that's no disrespect to Josh Allen or the Bills, but I just have a hunch about it. I don't know why. I think Ravens defense is playing better. They were in the AFC Championship game last year. Obviously the Chiefs took care of the Bills. I think the Ravens get it done. I don't know why exactly. They're really, I guess if I had to say why, I think it's the Bills defense has really struggled the last few weeks, and the Ravens defense has been getting better. And they can really, this is a game where they can really empty the tank on Derrick Henry. And I think they could ball control the Bills, wear down their defense, and potentially get out to a lead and force the Bills playing balanced football right now. And I think they need that, because I do think that their receiving options are suspect, as great a season as Josh Allen's had. And the Ravens are really good against the run. And if they can take that run away from the Bills, wear them down, I think it's going to be the Ravens. Let's see what you guys say. Ronald says Ravens play Bills well. I agree. Tom says true. Goff NFL says true. Chiefs 35, Bills 17. That would mean, yeah, true. Yeah, Bills. Tim says yes, the Bills. Tom says I don't trust Lamar and the Ravens. That's fair. But do you trust Josh Allen and the Bills? I mean, their playoff record's not sterling either. Ron says Lamar in the playoffs. I'll be a doubter till proven wrong. Justin says Buffalo has given up too many points at the end of the season. That's true. Not playing their best defensive football. Kathy says agree. Henry makes the difference. He's such a monster, man. Tom says Allen has proven more in the playoffs than Lamar. I think that's a fair statement. All right, last one. The Chiefs will complete the three-peat. True or false? I'm going with true. They're 3 games away from doing it. They're hitting their stride right now. Anything can happen in the playoffs. And like I said, the Bills and Ravens, the Chiefs are going to have to go through one of those teams to make it to the Super Bowl. Probably not going to have to go through both of them. In fact, I think that's impossible. So, yeah, give me the Chiefs. They've done it over and over and over again. Potentially the last ride for Travis Kelce. They've got all the experience. They're 15-1. And I think they're going to have stuff in that playbook, man, that these teams just aren't ready for. So true for me. Kathy says true. Jeremy says true. Sean says true. Justin says true. Ronson Trait says 1 week at a time. And then Ronald says true with 3 rings. Okay. That was fun. Thanks for playing a little true or false with me, ladies and gents. Again, the Arrowhead Addict podcast. Patrick Allen here with you on the OG Hour. And that was the interactive portion of our show. But I'm going to, of course, I lost my chat. I'll check you out on YouTube. So hit the like button. I've got something I want to say. So time for a little Patrick rant. And, you guys have been hearing it all year with these people about the NFL being rigged in favor of the Chiefs. And it's been driving me out of my mind. I got to be honest with you guys. Driving me out of my mind. It's just nonstop. And I've been stewing on it. And I have something to say to those people. And I'm going to say it right now. Fans who think the NFL is rigged for the Chiefs are the dumbest people alive. This has been driving me insane all NFL season. And like I said, I need to rant on it before I lose my mind. So look, haters are a part of sports. That's fine. Cheering for your team is a passionate thing, and despising your opponents helps fuel some of the best rivalries in sports. And rivalries are what makes everything more fun. So like any good movie or play, you guys know I'm a big movie or play guy. You don't have much to work with if you don't have conflict. And the Chiefs are a good target for the haters because they're a bona fide NFL dynasty. And there haven't been too many of those in the history of the sport. Especially in the modern era, you got to deal with free agency and salary cap and draft system that's designed to produce parity. The run of dominance that the Chiefs have had and that the Patriots had before them is truly remarkable. To do it, you got to have an all-time quarterback and an all-time coach. Without those ingredients, yeah, maybe you get one Super Bowl, maybe even 2 over a stretch. Look at Aaron Rodgers. He was an all-time quarterback in his prime, never really had all-time coaching. Luckily, the Chiefs have the right mix with Mahomes and Reed. So, like with any dynasty, see the Golden State Warriors or Brady and the Patriots, people get sick of seeing the team win constantly. So I get it, right? But listen, the Chiefs' run has been good for the NFL. It's good for Chiefs fans, obviously, but it's good for fans of the opposing teams because even though they'll never admit it, for good drama, you need a strong antagonist. You need a formidable bad guy. The Chiefs have been knocked out of the playoffs before, and they will be again at some point, as much as it's hard to believe because they just keep winning. At some point, they're going to get beat, and it's going to be way more satisfying for the haters when that happens. You don't get that if you don't have the run of dominance before that. So I don't have any issues with a little old-fashioned sports hatred. I certainly have mine. It's reasonable. But we don't live in a reasonable society anymore. Maybe we never did, but the internet has definitely amplified that. So, back in the day when you used to read the NFL power rankings from the local beat reporter in your hometown paper back in the 90s, you didn't have to hear from some guy named Carl in Dubuque, Iowa in the comments. These days, you can't read any piece of content regarding the Chiefs on any website or on any social media platform without hearing from Carl and many more angry people like him. The only difference is Carl is probably going by the screen name Schlong Doctor 69, and his profile picture is a cartoon image of a frog or a selfie shot of him in wraparound sunglasses sitting in his car. Carl doesn't have much of an expansive vocabulary, but he is pretty consistent with his messaging. It goes something like this. The content. The Chiefs are 15-1. Schlong Doctor 69, a.k.a. Carl. And the refs are undefeated. NFL is rigged for the Chiefs. Do you know how dumb you have to be to think the NFL is rigged for the Kansas City Chiefs? I shouldn't have to explain this, and Lord knows, even if one of these whack job conspiracy theorists actually sees this post, they're not going to believe it. But that's the beauty of being a conspiracy nut. You're already impenetrable to common sense, so no amount of actual evidence is going to persuade you. You could round up Kyrie Irving and the rest of the flat earth crew and put them in a rocket ship to orbit the earth, and they'd just hop on Twitter and tell you that the window in the spaceship is really just a TV screen there to fool them. Even if you ejected them into the cold vastness of space so they could see the truth for themselves before they implode or freeze to death or whatever happens to you when you get ejected from a spaceship because your brain is too smooth to allow you to continue breathing the limited oxygen of the people in your ship, they'd surely fire off a mental tweet before their brain went dead and say that they were given LSD or something to trick them into thinking the earth was round just before the lights go out. I mean, these people are so dim-witted, they can't even see the major flaws in their own arguments. Should you try to point these flaws out to them, they will move the goalposts faster than the speed of light. A great example is this year's ending to the Chiefs-Bengals game. As the third quarter was expiring, the Bengals were beating the Chiefs 20-17, and Patrick Mahomes threw an interception to Cam Taylor-Britt. The Bengals started the fourth quarter with the ball and a chance to go up 2 scores. They ran 3 plays for 0 yards, and on the third play, Joe Burrow fumbled, and the Chiefs ran it back for a touchdown. And after a failed 2-point conversion attempt, the Chiefs had the lead 23-22. Now, the Bengals responded. They went on an 8-play drive, 33 yards, took 5 minutes off the clock, and it gave them a 25-22 lead. After exchanging punts, game's nearly over by the time the Chiefs get the ball back with 2:35 left on the clock. With 48 seconds left, facing a 4th and 16 from their own 35, the Chiefs looked like they were cooked. Mahomes heaved up a pass to Rashee Rice that was incomplete. Only there was a flag. Bengals DB crashed into Rice well before the ball arrived, impeding his ability to fairly catch the ball. Chiefs got a first down at the Cincinnati 36. They moved the ball down to the 32, used all the clock, and won the game on a last-second Harrison Butker field goal. This sequence is often pointed out as the Chiefs get bailed out by the refs. Let's forget for a minute that the pass interference was clear and obvious and was absolutely the right call. If the refs were fixing the game for the Chiefs, why in the hell would they wait until the Chiefs were in a desperate situation to influence the outcome? You pose this question to the NFL is rigged for the Chiefs crowd, or you tell them that, hey, the Chiefs have been one of the most penalized teams in the NFL during the Mahomes era. They will move the goalposts from the refs always give the Chiefs all the calls to the refs don't always give the Chiefs the calls just in the most critical situations. Okay, Carl, then why did they put the Chiefs in a critical situation in the first place? Yeah, you heard me right. Before the Chiefs were facing a 4th and 16, they were facing a 4th and 6 from their own 45-yard line. What happened on that play? Patrick Mahomes hit Rashee Rice for a 21-yard pass completed to the Bengals 34. But the refs threw a flag on the Chiefs. Illegal use of the hands on Wanya Morris, a penalty of 10 yards, making the Chiefs' already desperate situation nearly impossible to overcome. I mean, boy, these refs sure are terrible at fixing games. I mean, if I was trying to help a team win and they just got themselves into field goal range with the clock running out, I might just swallow my whistle on that Wanya Morris penalty. Nah, not these refs. Along with fixing NFL games, they can also apparently see the future. And they knew that the Bengals DB was going to commit an obvious and boneheaded penalty on the very next play. Yeah, the Bengals didn't lose because they committed a dumb penalty at the worst possible moment or because Joe Burrow got strip sacked and the Chiefs ran it back for 6. They didn't lose because Joe Burrow got sacked 3 times or because they gave up 149 yards rushing. And they definitely didn't lose because they sucked all year and lost every close game they were in over and over again. No, it was because the refs and the NFL have a grand conspiracy to ensure that the massive market of Kansas City wins the Super Bowl every year. Then you got the paste eaters who think that the game is rigged because the NFL wants the Chiefs to keep winning because they're making a bunch of money off of Taylor Swift. The NFL made $20 billion in 2023. It's the richest sports league by revenue in the entire world. They don't need Taylor Swift in one stadium to make money. I even saw one. This one's great. I saw one maniac suggest that NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell rigs the games for the Chiefs because the late, great Lamar Hunt helped Goodell get his job. For those who don't know, Roger Goodell works for all of the NFL owners. The owners own the league. They hire Roger Goodell. Do you really think that Roger Goodell would risk losing his incredibly lucrative job over loyalty to a guy who died in 2006? Never mind the fact that if he was caught rigging games in the NFL, Roger Goodell would go to prison. And so would everybody else. Prison is where this entire conspiracy theory falls apart. The NFL owners are all filthy rich. The poorest owner in the NFL, Bengals owner Mike Brown, is worth a reported $925 million. Everyone else is reportedly worth $1 billion or more. Jerry Jones is worth a reported $13 billion. The Hunt family is worth a reported $24 billion. The ownership group of the Denver Broncos, led by the Walmart heir, Rob Walton, and his partners, is worth $77 billion. Do you think that the Walmart guy is risking going to prison so he can help his division rival win as many games as possible? These people are so rich, they probably lose my entire retirement savings in the cushions of their couch. They don't need to take insane risks that don't make any sense to make more money. You see, this is bigger than the Kansas City Chiefs. The internet and social media has given everybody brain rot. It's turned us into the biggest bunch of whiny ass crybabies imaginable because we can always find somebody to commiserate with us. Carl no longer has to accept disappointment. Nothing bad happens that happens to Carl is his own fault. There's always somebody else to blame. When something happens to Carl that Carl doesn't like, it's a conspiracy. It's rigged. Carl doesn't have to accept that his favorite team lost because, the other team was better, or maybe they came up on the wrong end of an unlucky bounce. No way. If he did that, Carl might have to confront the reality that he's deeply unhappy and that he ties his own self-worth and self-esteem to the outcomes of the professional sports team he supports. No way in hell is Carl going down that road, even if it might lead to self-introspection, growth, and a happier existence. Why do that? Why do it? Why do that when Carl can just log into his Schlong Doctor 69 account and spend every waking free second firing off comments and tweets about how all the things he doesn't like are either the results of a conspiracy or are lies or flat out don't exist at all? Just fill that big old hole inside of him with sweet, sweet rage and make everybody else miserable along the way. So next time somebody starts trying to tell you that the NFL is rigged for the Chiefs, go ahead and send them this video. Not because I think it's going to convince them. Only a lobotomy is going to help these people. No, send it to them so I can personally tell them, if you think the NFL is rigged for the Kansas City Chiefs, you're an idiot. I feel so much better. See, man, I love having this platform because I don't need to do what Carl does. I don't need to log into my Schlong Doctor account. I could just come on here and fire off. It's great, man. And listen, I want to apologize to everybody who listens to this podcast or has family members that are named Carl. That's just the name that popped into my head when I was thinking about like who's the guy that's just in every single comment section, miserable and being like, Tom Brady sucked and the Chiefs, it's the rigged. Like, it's just, what a miserable existence these people have. Sports is so much damn fun. I mean, did you guys watch that game yesterday between Texas and Arizona State? Man, I haven't watched an Arizona State game all year. I didn't know this. What was it? Scabadoo kid, the running back. I didn't know who he was. Oh man, I was cheering for that kid so hard. It was so much fun. Like, it was an incredible game, and it was just like there are people that just they can't even enjoy. Like, what if you're so mad that your team loses to the Chiefs or that the Chiefs keep winning? Like, that's fine, right? Like I said at the beginning, great, okay, be pissed off. But like, if you're so mad that you're going into conspiracy theories that it's rigged, like, why are you watching or commenting on the NFL at all? Like, if you legitimately think the NFL is rigged, what are you doing even talking about it? Like, wouldn't you move on to something else? Like, these people just like being miserable. Kathy says, LOL, my older brother, Carl. Justin says, while in his parents' basement with Cheeto-stained fingers, lounging in his whitey tighties. I always said tighty whiteys. Tungsten says, screw Carl. I love it, man. I love it. That was fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If it's been annoying you all season long, there's a little podcast therapy for you. Hopefully I didn't shout too loud. All right. Let's get to reader reviews. Listen, you know what we're doing here. We're on the road to 400. We're trying to get to 400 reviews on Apple Podcasts before the season ends. You guys have been backing our play. We're at 386. We're almost there. Just a few more to go. If you've never reviewed the show, please go to Apple Podcasts. Leave us a 5-star review. If you leave us a written review, we will read it on the show. We'd prefer that. And I'm going to do our 4 newest ones right now. From December 27th, from KSX I'm so terrible at reading these. If you guys notice, KSXINWODNW. I don't know how to, I'm not going to try to figure that out. Best Chiefs podcast, the absolute best Chiefs content there is. Miss Verderam, though, need him more often. You know, he's been on about every other week, which is a system that we've got set up for him, but we'll get him back here soon. Then another one from the 27th from Mac the Terrible. On the road to 400, my man. Love the pod. Appreciate how hard these guys work to bring quality Chiefs content. Question: what is your ideal 3-course tailgate meal, and what drinks are you reaching for to wash it down? Thanks, Adam, Patrick, Sterling, Price and Company. 3-course tailgate. I'm assuming drinks are not drinks you want to wash it down. Okay, so all right, I'm going to wash it down with a KC beer if I can get it, an Arrowhead lager, of course. If not, if that's not available, I'm a big Great Lakes Brewery fan. Tailgate food, give me a Dortmunder Gold lager. Fantastic if you've never had it. Yeah, that'll wash it down. 3-course tailgate meal. All right, so appetizers. I guess I'm going to go. Give me some brisket nachos. So we're doing tailgating. We're Kansas City Chiefs fans. So I'm going to go the barbecue route here. Give me some brisket nachos. Good friend of mine makes some fantastic brisket nachos. So start me out with that. Second course, it's got to be some ribs for me. Let's second course ribs. Give me your best. Maybe Joe's Kansas City. And then third course, we're not really doing desserts at the tailgate, are we? And people make cupcakes and stuff. Just give me burnt ends, like my all-time favorite barbecue food. Yeah, so let's do that. When we get all the major barbecue food groups in there, we get brisket, burnt ends, we get ribs, and yeah, we're good to go. So awesome question. Thanks for Mac the Terrible. Next up is Rattler68 NM. Chiefs fan, New Mexico. Nice. Love this podcast. You guys are the best. Go Chiefs. Thanks, Rattler. I've never been to New Mexico. Always wanted to go. I'm gonna have to make a trip out there next time I go out that way. And then from New Year's Eve, Lane App and support. Chiefs newbie. Love the content. Good job filling my knowledge base on my new team. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for checking out the pod, for hitting us up on New Year's Eve. It's really rad to see people becoming Chiefs fans. You know, that people call them bandwagon fans. Man, I don't care. Get on. There's plenty of room. If you haven't been a Chiefs fan, if you're new to football, if you're a Taylor Swift fan that didn't watch, but you got interested because of the relationship with Travis, all are welcome in the kingdom, baby. Just make sure you stick around when the lean times come, because that's how you become. That's how you really earn your badge of honor, right? You sit through a few seasons of Todd Haley and Romeo Crennel and Brody Croyle, people like that. And then the next time the Chiefs went after that, you'll really feel like, I've been through the wars and stuff. But yeah, man, hop on while the times are good. We want you in the kingdom. I love it. Let's go to the chat here. Angry Drunken German's late. Says, damn it, missed another episode. Dude, you got to go back and listen to my rant, man. I think it was fun. He says, love the jacket Patrick's wearing. Where do I get one? So I got this at the Super Bowl in Arizona. This is what the players wore on stage. I doubt they're in the store anymore. They go pretty quickly, but it's tricky. I didn't get one in 2019 when they had the white ones, and those were really sweet. And they got sold out like really quickly, and I was never able to get my hands on one. At the Super Bowl, these cost an exorbitant amount of money. They're like over $200. Days after the Super Bowl, I've seen them on the Fanatics or wherever they sell this stuff for a much lower price. Still very expensive, but not what you pay for it at the Super Bowl. But I just always bite the bullet if I'm at the Super Bowl and the Chiefs are there and get one. I didn't buy one last year because I thought it was very similar to this one, and it's crazy expensive. And I was like, if it's not, if it's not different, I'm good. I'm going to keep my money. I bought a pretty cool hat that I really like to commemorate that Super Bowl. But you might be able to find one on eBay or something if somebody's trying to move them. I don't know, but I doubt that they're in stock anymore. I got the pin and put it on myself, but it's got the hood here. It's good stuff, man. It's good stuff. James T. Kirk says, I have 2 white ones and no grays. Oh man. You got 2 of the whites. Those were so good. The only thing, I have this great white Chiefs hoodie that I got when I was in Kansas City once, and I love it, but it's just like, it just gets dirty. You can't touch anything. That's the only thing that if I had one of the white ones, or if I was able to get my hands on one, I probably would only bust it out and wear it like for podcasts and stuff like that, because they're so nice and I'd want to keep it nice. Okay. Let's just talk Chiefs Broncos really quickly and then get out of here. So, I'm not going to do a full game preview on this thing, because why? Like I said earlier, I think it'll be interesting. I think the Chiefs will put up a fight for a while in this game. I think they'll do a regular practice for these guys, and they'll get them prepared for the Broncos and all of that. And I think they'll have some good scripted stuff for them. And I think Wentz is a competent quarterback. Like Andy thinks he should be a starter. So I think early on they'll put a scare into the Broncos, but it's just hard for me to see the Chiefs beating this Denver team. They're playing pretty well. Bo Nix looks like he might be the real deal. Sean Payton's a good coach. I'm not a big fan of the guy, but he's a good coach. And there's just a talent. There's going to be a talent discrepancy in some areas that I think is going to be too hard for the Chiefs to overcome. But you never know. You never know. I wouldn't be shocked if the Chiefs beat the Broncos. But right now, let me check the spread on that one. It is Denver minus 10.5. So that's what Vegas is telling you. And I think that's what happens. I think early on it's close. And then second half, Broncos pull away. The Chiefs run out of whatever tricks they brought into the game for the backups, and that's that. But you never know. Let's see what you guys think. Let me know in the chat. Justin says, barbecue and white Chiefs gear go undefeated. I was in line at Joe's once when I was in Kansas City for a game against the Bills. Actually, I think it was the 13 seconds game, which I was fortunate enough to be at. And I'm in line at Joe's, and there's this dude in a Stephon Diggs jersey, a white one, sitting in Joe's eating barbecue. And I was like, see, that's a rookie barbecue move if I've ever seen one. These guys from Buffalo. And it's funny because they've got buffalo wings. So you think that Bills fans would know, hey, I'm going to eat something with sauce. I'm not going to wear white. I mean, I don't want to wear white when I'm eating anything. I don't think I'd wear my white Chiefs hoodie when I was eating potato chips, let alone going. And I don't want to worry about when I go to a barbecue joint, man. It's not pretty. It's not safe for work. I don't care what's going on around me. I'm not there for style points. I'm there to scarf down as much beef as I possibly can. And that means there's going to be barbecue everywhere. It's just a scene. Like, I'm not proud of it, but that it is what it is. When in Rome, man, when I'm in a barbecue restaurant, I want to be the most disgusting pig imaginable until my stomach is, bursting at the seams. It just is what it is. I'm certainly not going to wear white. All right, everybody. So listen, what a weird week. First day back. It's Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday. Like, on vacation. And it's kind of nice. It's kind of ease into 2025. So we'll still be here for you. We'll have our regular slate of shows on game day with the pregame show, the halftime show, the postgame show. We'll talk about what we saw and, start talking about the playoffs. And it should be a fun game to watch because you're going to get to see some guys play that don't get to play very often. So, like, if you're a big Carson Steele guy, if you don't agree with me, if you think he's a starting running back, he might get 20 carries in this game. You kind of get to see. And the kind of cool thing, it's a little bit different than a preseason game. I like preseason games because you get to watch these kinds of players. But these players are going to be going up against a team that, and it's not an ideal setup for them because they don't have all the stars around them, but they're going to be playing against Denver starters who are fighting for a playoff spot. So if Carson Steele goes out there and runs for 125 yards against this Broncos defense, that's impressive. It's not, it was a preseason game. So it's going to be fun. Kathy says no mercy. I love it. Let's go. Let's cheer on the Chiefs, and we'll let the cards fall where they may as far as the playoff seeding goes. I appreciate you guys. This was a really fun show. Thank you for your support, for being interactive in the chat. It's not always easy going solo, so I appreciate you guys. If you want to become a member of the Arrowhead Addict community, it's not too late. I lost the Fantasy Football League this year. It wasn't pretty. I didn't even make the playoffs. But congratulations to our own Branson Gibson, who took the win over KCDC in the championship, one of our longtime members here at the Arrowhead Addict podcast. It was a really fun season of fantasy football. We'll do it again next year. We'll see you guys on Sunday. Thanks to producer Richard for getting this thing up and running. And we'll see you on Sunday for the Chiefs post-game show. But until then, as always, go Chiefs.